Hi, I'm Bill Corcoran Jr., and I'm your host for the On the Stacks podcast. Today, I'm chatting with Joe Homza, police officer and canine handler with the Wilkes-Barre City Police Department. What's up, podcast? Episode 78 of the On the Stacks podcast in the Blue Door studio. Welcome to the show, Officer Homza. How are you?
Good, Bill. How are you? Thanks.
Yeah, man, this is super exciting. You brought your police dog with you today, Chase.
Yep.
Which is super exciting, and I'm glad you're here, man, because I think you do some really cool stuff, and I think it's great for the community to hear about what you do and your background and everything. So, where did it all get started, man? I know you're a Marine.
Yep.
So take me back.
Well, yeah, I knew I always wanted to be a Marine.
How so?
What?
Why?
I don't know. It started when I was really young. I was attracted to the military lifestyle. I'm just like, a normal boy that was enthralled by military, police, fire trucks, stuff like that. Why the Marine Corps? I don't know. I guess because I wanted to be the best.
Okay, yeah. They are the best, right?
That's right. So, but I also knew that I always wanted to get into law enforcement. My plan was to do 20 years in the Marine Corps and get out and go work for maybe a federal agency, federal law enforcement agency, CIA, DEA, FBI, something like that. And then, of course, things changed, as they usually do. So yeah, once I graduated high school, I had enrolled or enlisted in the Marine Corps as early as I possibly could. I was
right out of high school.
Well, before even.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then I would, go do like events with the poolies, they call them. So we would go down to Harrisburg with like recruits from all over the state and do like get to play Marine, for a day. So that was really cool. And I also, when I was probably 14 years old, I went to the first ever Troop P Camp Cadet with the state police. And from then on, I knew that that's definitely what I wanted to do eventually. Even after Camp Cadet, I was a member of the Law Enforcement Explorer Post. So we would meet, I don't know, maybe it was once a week, maybe not even that often. And we would meet at the training center in Wyoming by the airport. And they would bring in different members of law enforcement and, basically give us a class every night. We'd go and do volunteer work and stuff like that. So that's what sort of kept me in that law enforcement loop, even though I knew that I was what I thought was going to spend 20 years in a Marine Corps before I ever got to that point.
Okay. So what did you do in the Marines?
I was a signals intelligence and electronic warfare analyst.
What year was this that you joined?
2001 to 2006.
Okay.
Yep. So I actually joined before 9/11, and that's like sort of part of what really changed a lot of things. I was in boot camp at Parris Island when 9/11 occurred.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
what was that like?
It was definitely strange. Obviously, back then, we didn't have phones. We didn't have TV at Parris Island. We didn't have email. Snail mail was like 2 weeks delayed.
You were kind of like out of the loop almost.
We were. And, at the time, like I give people now who join after 9/11 a lot more credit than I give myself. After 9/11, that you're joining the military to go to war. You're making that conscious decision. Before 9/11, my plan was I'm going to join the Marines. I'm going to get on a boat, float around, stop at different countries, come back, do it again, until my 20 years is up,
And you never thought.
Because we weren't in war at the time. So, yeah, I remember we were in the last phase of our training, and we were in like a combat simulated training event at Parris Island, and they stopped training, and it was like we were like, oh, what is this? What are they doing? They all got us all together, and they came in and they started telling us about what happened, and I thought it was part of the training. Like I thought they were giving us a scenario, and then we're gonna go out and we're gonna fight this terrorist organization who just took down the World Trade Centers and the Pentagon. Like, it was unheard of.
Yeah. Almost didn't feel real, I bet.
Yeah, it wasn't. But it really got real when they started pulling people out who had lost family members, and those people never came back. So once, people whose family was in New York, DC, places like that, we sort of started to realize that they weren't messing with us. And then, as the weeks go by, as we started getting our mail and families were sending front pages of newspapers from all around the world, and we could see it, then it really hit. And we knew that, it was going to be different from that point forward. So I basically, we all finished our trainings. I went to school in Pensacola, Florida for, I guess, about 6 months. And then I was supposed to go out to Arizona for a follow-on school. And things changed again. And actually, a lot of people don't know this because I really don't bring it up. Because as far as I'm concerned, and knock on wood, I'm very fortunate, but I don't remember this part of my life, but I was in a really, really bad car accident. I was hit by a drunk driver head on at over 100 miles per hour.
Oh my God.
And literally my whole body was shattered. My head, my ribs, my vertebrae, my hips, and my legs. I have metal all over me. I'm like RoboCop. So fortunately, I have no real issues from that because I try and stay in shape and take care of myself. But yeah, that was the next hurdle that I had to get through. Literally had to learn to walk again. All while I was still active duty Marine Corps. So I had gone through an entire year of rehabilitation and exercising and physical therapy, and in the Marine Corps we have to do a physical fitness test. So it's 3-mile run, pull-ups, and sit-ups. I smoked it. I got a first-class PFT, like I always have, and then even at that point I was at the Bethesda Naval Hospital, and they were like, yeah, I mean, that's all great and everything, but we think you should get out. So that was really devastating to me because the only thing I had ever planned for, the only thing I had ever wanted to do was be a Marine. Unfortunately, schoolwork for me, I got by, but it wasn't a focus of mine because I was going to the Marine Corps, which is no excuse. Don't get me wrong. It's no excuse, but I wasn't a bad student. That wasn't my goal. The SATs were not my focus. Ultimately, I had a lot of awesome support from people who fought to let me stay in, despite them wanting to kick me out. And probably for the right reasons. They were looking out for my,
sure,
health and well-being, right? Yeah. Best interest. But, the hell with that. I wanted to be a Marine. So they let me stay in. And then, I went on to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and ultimately deployed to Iraq with the 24th Marine Expeditionary Unit. The first MEU, they call it, the first MEU in history to not get on a ship and go somewhere. MEUs are usually out in the ocean, floating around, like a quick reaction force if something pops off in the world. You have all this contingency of Marines and sailors out there that could go and stabilize whatever popped off until you could get, the army to come in after us,
Yeah. And this is probably what you thought you were going to be doing.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So, and even during the training, we had trained on a ship. We had gone out to sea and done a series of trainings. We had done all the trainings that a normal MEU would do, but when it came time to deploy to Iraq, we literally got on an airplane and flew to theater and occupied Iraq for, approximately 8 months, from 2004 to 2005. So that was very unconventional. Like I said, the first time in Marine Corps history that a MEU didn't float somewhere. So that was different. And, it was a interesting experience to say the least. But I knew that when I got back, I was probably going to drop my pack, like we say, and maybe look to get out and move on with my life and move back home.
Like, what was the plan? Like, what did you end up doing?
Well, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I really didn't have a plan except for to get the hell out of the Marine Corps. But what I did when I got home is I immediately tested for the Pennsylvania State Police. And, at the time, like, coming from the Marine Corps, that military organization, I wasn't quite sure that I wanted to go right back into that paramilitary style environment. Like, I was done with that, So, something I never thought of doing, but I, enrolled in school, in college. Went to Penn State, Wilkes-Barre.
We are.
Penn State.
Hell yeah.
And that was exactly what I needed, and it was exactly what I was looking for. Now, I've been to state college multiple times. Do I sort of regret not going to state college? A little bit, because I love it there.
Yeah. It's a good time.
It is. I really do like it there. And my brother went there. So both my brothers are also Marines.
Nice.
Yeah, but Penn State Wilkes-Barre was exactly what I wanted. I could do my 4 years there. I had partied harder than anybody could party at college.
Yeah, so you didn't need to be in state college.
I did not need to be there. I just wanted to learn. I wanted to, get my degree and move on with my life.
What did you go to school for?
Electrical engineering technology.
What else were you going to say? I cut you off.
I don't know. Don't cut me off. But while I was in college, I had applied for an internship at Tobyhanna Army Depot. And, definitely my veteran status helped me out there. And it was a really great program because manpower permitting, after college, they, would pick me up and I would, have essentially, a federal job and non-competitive promotions and all this stuff. So I had really enjoyed what I was doing. And the reason I picked like the electrical engineering technology was what I did in the Marine Corps was a lot of electronics and signals. And so I wanted to not waste that 5 years of essentially experience that I had.
Yeah, that
and
exposure.
And I wanted to apply that now to my education and be able to apply my education to my experience and basically say, look, I'm not just right out of college, but I'm also not right out of the Marine Corps. And it seemed to work out. But like I said, that fire was always burning inside of me to be a cop. Like all my friends were cops. It just wasn't in my life plan at the time. Like,
at that time to become
right.
police
Like
officer.
I was basically going on one path, and that was always like twinkling at the end of another path. And I was like, I'm too invested in this career now and that career at the time. 2014, well, probably the end of 13, a friend of mine was like, hey, Wilkes-Barre's testing. You should take the test. And I'm like, why would I do that? Why would I give up federal employment to go be a cop somewhere? But he was like, man, Wilkes-Barre, that's the place to be if you want to be a cop. Like, you are going to work. And, I started looking at it and I was like, well, it's something I always wanted to do. What really do I have to lose besides like maybe like a $50 application fee to take the test or something? So I took the test and I just kept moving up the ranks, moving up. And, word on the street was they were going to hire 10. And it was like, they were pretty positive they were going to hire 10. Well, I had to resign from my previous job, and that was like, I'm not a gambling man. So that was a big gamble because as you know, like in government and stuff, nothing's like
For sure.
Right? So yeah, they could say, oh, we're going to hire 10, we're going to hire 20, whatever.
And then
like
they might not.
They might not hire anybody. Well, I just resigned from a federal job, that I essentially had 5 years of my military had counted for, and I was there another 3 or 4 years. So,
So you're doing well.
Yeah, I gambled for once in my life, and ended up getting hired off that list in 2014.
At Wilkes-Barre City.
Wilkes-Barre City, Wildberry.
Yeah.
That's what I call it.
Yeah.
So, Wilkes-Barre paid me to go to the academy, which was obviously a plus. And then I started August, I think. Yeah, had to be August of 14 is when I hit the road in field training.
And then how and when did the canine unit come about? That wasn't right from the beginning, right?
No. So funny. I'm not one of those guys that had always wanted to be a canine cop. Like I never even really had a dog growing up. Like I wasn't a dog guy. Just, but when I was in the police academy, every class that's going through chooses a fallen officer to commemorate their education to, in like their name. So we were going back and forth as a class, like who could we pick? Obviously, we're trying to look at people that have not been chosen before and trying to look at people who had just recently been killed in the line of duty, and maybe other classes had chosen them. And we were like, well, what are we going to do? Well, we came across Canine Rocco from Pittsburgh Police Department. He was killed like a week or two before we started the academy in February. Maybe the end of January, he was killed. And we took it to the director at the time, Marianne Grippo, and we're like, hey, what if we just do a canine? Like, people love dogs. This might be like a really good thing. And she agreed, and it just took off. We raised like a couple $1,000s that we donated to the Pittsburgh Police Canine Unit. A plaque for the family, stuff like that. And it was, I guess you could say, like, looking back, maybe that was the start of my canine career. I mean, it really had... Unintentionally, right. So, yeah, I started in Wilkes-Barre in August after I graduated the academy, and I guess we had dogs. I never saw them. I think we had one left at the time, but again, he was older, I guess. We never...
Ready to retire.
Never really saw him. But I heard stories, and I remember listening to a story once about this guy who was teaching his dog to like lay down in front of him, and he was using the dog to like rest his rifle on as he shot, and like doing all this crazy stuff with his dog. And I didn't know any better. I'm just taking his word for it. I'm a young cop, and this guy's, I guess some seasoned veteran. I don't know. But at the time, I'm like, oh, cool. You could teach a dog to do that? And he was like, yeah, they're great. You could teach them to do anything. But that still wasn't like what I wanted to do. Like, I love chasing bad guys. I love drug work. I love street work. Like, patrol is where it's at. To me, a promotion to sergeant, to detective, to lieutenant is not a promotion. Like, I love being a patrolman. Everything starts in patrol. All the investigations, everybody who's in those positions, they all start as patrolmen. Nobody comes in as a chief of police. So I really, really loved the street work. I loved going out there, making arrests, chasing bad guys. It still gives me an adrenaline rush to this day. Except now I just have a partner that chases them for me.
A four-legged partner.
Right, I don't have to run as much. But ironically, there's a story to that one too.
Can't wait to hear it.
But, so I was a member of a two-man proactive policing unit. So we would ride two to a car. We would be in full uniform, and our job was to just jump out on people. We would focus on like high crime areas of the city, vice crimes, drugs, prostitution, basically anything. And I really, really enjoyed that side of things. I really enjoyed working with another cop and just having your back up there with you all the time. And once you get to work with people enough, like, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, that is really like what I wanted to, like, that was my place. However, the writing was on the wall. Like, that was sort of a test unit. Maybe it was only going to last a year, and they were going to reevaluate how it was doing, if it was worth it, if manpower would permit. And, the writing was on the wall that was going to go away. However, there were talks of starting up a canine unit, getting another dog, and retiring the dog we had. And I was like, well, if I can't, continue on with this unit, I'm still going to go out and do what I love to do. but what could make me better at my job? Having a dog, right? Having a dog that could help me find more drugs and catch more bad guys. I mean, it was like a no-brainer to me.
And can run a little faster than you.
A little bit faster than me. A lot faster than me. But yeah, and that's basically how I got to this point.
So Chase, he was your first dog, right?
So I actually had a dog before him for about 2 or 3 weeks. That dog was selected before me even. That dog basically it just didn't work out. Like we were talking about my puppy at home earlier. So this dog basically just didn't want to really work. He wanted to play. He wanted to bond. He wanted to be buddies.
So he went back to civilian life.
Well, you know what? If we had the time, and that was really the hardest part for me, is because I took it as a personal failure. Now, I was like 2 weeks on the job as a canine handler. I didn't know anything, but I still took it as a failure. Like, I did not want to send this dog back. I wanted to get him through it, like a team. Like, him failing was me failing. That's how I looked at it. But these dogs are very expensive. They do come with warranties. And the trainer at the time had made the decision that it would be in everyone's best interest to maybe try and get another dog. So we took this dog back to Connecticut, where the broker was, where we got the dog from, and we evaluated a handful of dogs that they had at the time, and we weren't impressed. And so we just waited for another shipment to come in from Slovakia. Probably another 2 or 3 weeks went by, and they got the shipment in. We jumped in a car, drove out to Connecticut again, and we looked at probably 9 dogs. And now, I didn't know what we were looking for. I mean, as far as I was concerned, I'm like, oh, well, that dog looks cool, but
yeah.
That's not what it's about, right?
Right.
Like, the trainer, he went through all these evaluations, and he would send the dog back and then ask to see it again and see another dog. And finally, at the end, we had probably narrowed it down to 3 or 4 dogs, and he was like, all right, come outside with me. We were there for hours, and he was like, I made my choice. And I said, I think I did too. And we both said, my current dog, Dasti is his name. Chase is his street name, I call it. So Dasti's his government name. That's where my career started with him.
Nice. So, I mean, so tell me about the dog, because I know there's extensive training, and these dogs are used in the Secret Service, Navy SEALs. I mean, like, these are real seriously highly trained dogs.
Yes. It's truly incredible what they do and their capabilities, especially when you choose the right dog and you pair that with the right handler. You could have a slamming dog, like just, the dog that could jump the highest, run the fastest, find the most bombs or drugs, bite the hardest. You hand him to a load, the dog's never going to live up to his potential. And then, on the other side, if you may have the most high-speed cop, if you select the wrong dog, the dog that doesn't have the right drive, I mean, you just have like a broken tool.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the way Chase was looking at me when I was in the bite suit.
Yeah,
he was ready.
Yeah,
ready.
That's how he always is. He's always ready. He's always watching my back. He's always looking around. He's always ready to work. And that's exactly what we want in a police dog. We want that drive, but we also want the control. We want him to be able to jump up on the stack of paper next to you and be okay. There's this like misconception of, is your dog friendly? Is he, can I pet him? Is he social? Well, I like to use the term tolerant. He's tolerant. He will tolerate being around people. That doesn't mean he has to be touched. He doesn't have to be pet. He's a tool. He's a piece of equipment. I would not let you come to my house and touch my firearm or play with the taser.
So same thing applies here.
Same thing with the dog. He is a tool. And we respect him and the profession by treating him as such. Just like, we brought in the vest and the helmet and all that stuff. That's it's fun to put on. I still get a kick out of putting it on too. I love it when I get to go train and stuff. But there's a reason why we have bulletproof helmets, because people want to shoot us in the heads. Same thing with that vest. That vest is heavy because...
Real heavy.
Yeah.
I wore it. It was super... It was, I don't know, what does that weigh? Like 25, 30 pounds?
No, it's got to be more than that.
More.
Yeah. Yep. And it's that heavy because of the rifle-rated plates in it, because people want to shoot us with rifle rounds,
Instead of your typical handgun.
Right. So, those are, those are tools. Like, yeah, they're fun and everything, but, they have a purpose, just like the dog. But yeah, I mean, they're truly incredible. Like, from day one, all I wanted to do was be the best canine handler that I guess city, the county, whatever, has ever seen. My goal was to be the dog that any cop in this county wanted to call when they needed a job done. Even if, let's say, another police department had a canine, I still wanted them to call me because they knew that we were going to be the best. And that was really my goal, and that's what I worked towards. And honestly, I believe that I've gotten to that point. We have assisted countless local agencies. State police call us. We've done jobs for the Attorney General's office. We've done jobs for the DEA, the FBI. We assist U.S. Marshals on fugitive apprehensions. We have even been on 2 presidential security details and a vice president security detail with the Secret Service.
That's pretty serious.
Yeah, so it's awesome. It really opens up the doors. Canine is so much more than just working a dog. Obviously, I'm sitting here with you. The dogs really are like a bridge between the community and the police. And it's even stated in our policy, our canine policy, that while our primary function is law enforcement, like we are here to do a job, but the department understands that there is that love of animals between people, right? And it opens lines of communication between people that maybe would not want to talk to cops otherwise, or maybe wouldn't know how to approach us otherwise. But when we pull up and they see canine on the car, or they see canine on the back of my vest, or the dog barks, instantly people ask, "Oh, you got a dog in there? What's his name? What does he do?" And then people just, the kids, they love to come around the car. What's the dog's name? When I tell them Chase, everybody knows Chase from Paw Patrol. So, and that's really why it was chosen. And, the kids love it. They think, "Oh my God, it's real life Chase. It's great."
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Yeah. And I think one thing we kind of skipped over is his breed. What is his breed?
So he's half Belgian Malinois and half German Shepherd. So, when you see him next to a German Shepherd, he looks nothing like a Shepherd.
But when you see him on his own, he can probably be confused for a Shepherd.
He does.
Right?
A lot of times people do. Plus, whoever heard of a Belgian Malinois?
Yeah, not many people.
Right.
Unless you know a little bit about dogs and police dogs.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yep, that's him. He is, and it's a really nice combination because you get the high drive and the athleticism of a Malinois. You get the size, a little more size, and level-headedness of the German Shepherd breed. It's a very nice combination. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. So what's he capable of?
Anything. His primary he's what's considered a dual-purpose dog. Dual purpose means he does the detection work and he also does patrol work. So his detection discipline is narcotics. So they could be narcotics, explosives, cadaver, search and rescue. They have bed bug detection dogs. They have COVID detection dogs that Penn is doing research on.
So he does a lot of stuff, or could do a lot of stuff.
Well, they could do anything.
And it's like you're like the guy in the movie when they call in the canine unit, right?
That's right. That's
you
right.
show up.
That's right.
You're that guy.
I'm
right?
it. Yep.
Yeah.
So he's narcotics, and then the patrol side of things is like the bite work, like the suit that you saw that you had on. So that's apprehension, handler protection, building searches, area searches for evidence or articles or discarded items from a crime or whatnot. Someone could throw a gun somewhere, we could go find it. Tracking, crowd control. So that whole like police side of things
He
where
controlled me today.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
But yeah,
but what a good boy.
he is a good boy. He's the best. But yeah, that's his job. That is what he does.
So what kind of training goes into getting him to learn and understand? I mean, there's a lot involved.
So it really comes down to communication. All we're doing is tapping into the dog's natural drives, natural instincts. But we just have to learn how to communicate what we want with the dog. Okay? They don't know a language. It's all associative. What do we associate? You know, I could say bad boy and make that mean the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
It really, like, because he's a German Shepherd, I don't have to speak German. Because he's from Slovakia, I don't have to speak Czech. It doesn't matter. It's all what you associate to the word
with the command
at the right time. And that's really the hardest part. Teaching these dogs to find odor, whatever that odor may be, happens scary fast. Like when the dog knows how to hunt, which is what you select the dog for, you can very, very quickly imprint that dog on any odor. So, for example, when I was down at Penn for detection school as an assistant trainer at the Penn Vet Working Dog Center, from the time these dogs are 12 to 14 weeks old, they are teaching them how to hunt. They're making a game of it. Go find this smell and you get this reward. And then, so by the time they hit a year and a police department comes to them and says, hey, I want that dog. I want him to be trained on this odor. The dog already knows the game. So now all you do is you take that odor out, put it out, tell the dog, search whatever command you had associated with that behavior. The dog does it. The dog finds that odor, which is new to the dog. It's an anomaly in the room. And right when you see that little twinge of the head, that little tiny behavior change, you mark it, whether it's with a verbal marker and forever that odor is now imprinted into the dog's brain. It's that quick. And then from that point forward, it really comes down to, how could I challenge this dog now? How can I make it harder for this dog? How could I make it so that the dog can't find it? You know, that's really what it comes down to, because that's what people are doing out on the street.
So is that what you do? You make it intentionally harder and harder.
Harder and harder. Try and challenge him. Where could I put it that he can't get to it? If I put it somewhere in this room, how does the airflow in the room affect it? How does the temperature and the humidity in the room affect the odor? Why is the dog staring at this wall when the odor's on top of that cabinet? And then reading the dog and his behavior and understanding how odor works and how odor travels. There's really a sciencey aspect to it, which really fascinates me. So like the patrol side of things, right? Finding people. You can't bite people if you don't find them. Everything it comes down to detection. It comes down to their nose. We use dogs for their nose. That is their primary function anywhere. Military, police, civilian, search and rescue. It's their nose. Now, the fact that they could bark is
and scare the hell out of me.
Right. The fact that they could bite is an extra, right? But you can't bite someone if you can't find them. So they have to use their nose to find them. And that's really the most impressive part of these dogs. So once you can understand what your dog is doing when it's smelling its target odor, or even when it's not smelling its target odor, that's really like where a handler, a good handler, and a good team, I want to keep coming back to like that team aspect, is really what it is. Like I said before, you could have the best dog in the world, crappy handler. You can only go so far. It's really about teamwork, and me reading him reading me. That's what I find the most rewarding aspect of it.
So how much practicing of all this stuff do you have to do?
Well, it's really constant training. So aside from like our initial training, which is weeks and weeks. So when I was at Penn as an assistant trainer, I had gone down for patrol school, and that was 480 hours. And then I went back as an assistant trainer for detection school, and that was 320 hours. And really, like, at that point, you're basically like, yeah, your dog knows the job. Like, it knows what it's supposed to do. It knows its odors. But the real training starts when you hit the street. When you get that dog out there exposed to the environment that it's going to be working in, right? So the easy thing to do is to take a dog to like a big open field and lay a track and then make them walk through the grass and find whatever or whoever at the end, right? Well, aside from like Kirby Park or Cole Street Park, we're not tracking through cornfields here in Wilkes-Barre City.
Yeah.
We're doing urban tracking, hard surface tracking. We may cross through some yards and jump some fences at times and hit a little bit of grass or vegetation there, but for the most part, we're doing hard surface tracking.
It's a city environment.
Right. So it's a city environment with city animals all over the place. There's like 10 trillion cats in the city, right? And like stray dogs and pigeons, like city chickens everywhere, to where like we could be in the middle of a track and like a dog will run out from like a yard. And then a cat will jump off a tree, and squirrels and pigeons flying everywhere.
Talk about distraction.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, that's the training really starts, when you hit the road and get out into your environment, and then it continues for the career of that dog and handler. It's ongoing. Everything's a training opportunity. What we did today, training opportunity.
So what do we do? Tell everyone listening, because I know some people, if they follow me on social media, they'll see some photos of Chase barking his head off at me like a good boy doing his job. So take me through a little bit and explain what we did.
So even bringing him into here, different floors, slick surfaces, different smells. Maybe you're used to it, but I could smell like the print.
Yeah,
the ink
we're
and
used
stuff.
to it, but he wasn't, and you probably weren't.
Right. So the fact that he's in here, different sounds, the machines are running, the people around, right? That's a training. That's training. Dogs don't like slick floors. Some dogs, right? And that may be something that you could work them through, because if they've never experienced it or they've never seen an environment like that, they're going to be apprehensive. But will the dog work through that and get over it? And that's really like what we look for in initial selection of dogs. Will they get over that, or will they be okay with it, or will they completely shut down? So bringing him in here and around those sights and sounds and smells is training. Being around different people, being calm with people around. You being in that bite suit. That bite suit to a dog is play. It's the greatest reward they could ever get. I don't care if you threw them a T-bone steak, this ball that I use, like that bite suit is the biggest reward.
He loves the bite suit.
He loves the bite suit. They don't bite because they're mean. We don't want mean dogs. We don't want aggressive dogs. All right. That old idea of the junkyard dog, right?
Yeah.
That nasty Rottweiler chained up in a junkyard for 5 years and then getting handed over to a police station is no good.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what we want. Like, so again, it goes back to like a tolerant dog. The dog will tolerate all this stuff, but it's not lazy. He's not just going to be like, oh, well, until dad gives me my command, I'm just going to lay down. You saw how he was up on the paper.
Yeah.
He was focused.
He was alert.
Yes. And that's really how he always is. When we're at work, he is always switched on. And that's awesome. Like, to me, that's the best, because I don't have, not that I don't have to worry, but like, I know someone's always watching my back.
I was going to say, he's got your back.
Yep.
So how does that work though? Like, if he's in the car, right? Like, and you're somewhere and you hop out of your car, like, how does he get out of the car?
So
silly question.
Well, no. So I could obviously open the door.
Is he trained to open it? Like, can he?
No. So I would either open the door physically.
Okay.
Or in the car, we have a module that it's called like a hot and pop. So it monitors the temperature of the car, and it also pops open a door. as well as this button I have on my vest. I could hit these buttons and the door will pop open. So I could be a pretty good distance away from the car. And if I needed him to come to me, I could hit the buttons and it would pop open.
And he'll just know.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Until it doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is what happened last week.
Oh, no. What happened?
So are you familiar with the bank robbery?
Yeah,
we had a bank robbery.
I did. I saw it. What, M&T?
Yeah. Yeah. So we had a bank robbery. And the guy had, driven off.
Allegedly.
Yes. No, he definitely did. He was driving down the street, and the bank tellers had given a description of the car and the license plate. So I was like, listening to the radio, of course. I was like, I know there's only one way that's going to come out. So I started to go that way. And then the GPS tracker on the money kicked in. So 911 is telling us where the car is. Well, I'm coming up one street. The car's coming right at me.
Oh.
Well, there was like a little delay. And we just missed each other. But ultimately, I was close. I was like a block off of him. And the description of the car was a little bit off. But that's typical. We get,
yeah.
in the heat of the moment,
error.
people, it's human error. So I ended up locating the car, and he took off on me. And it was on. So we were all through the city on a pursuit. And he was reaching around that car. Like I was almost certain it was going to be a shootout at the end.
Wow.
He was reaching in a bag, reaching behind the seat. We knew he had a gun from the robbery. It was
really?
Like he robbed the bank with a gun, like
Armed robbery.
Like this is it. This is what every cop
real
lives
deal.
for. This is
the real
it.
deal. It's like what you see in the movies.
Right. Now I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Like if this comes to an end, when this comes to an end, what am I going to do? Am I going to use my dog? Do I have to, use something else? Like what?
Yeah, like did you have backup besides the dog?
Not till the very end. Towards the end, another cop had caught up with me and ended up calling the pursuit for us. And once the suspect vehicle crashed, I immediately, so I hit him as well. Like when he crashed, I crashed into him, and I immediately drew my firearm and put my hand on the door to get out because I did not want to be in a car if he started shooting at me.
Sure, yeah.
So by the time I got out of the car, he had taken off running, and I immediately...
You're trying to press your button.
Press the button, and it makes a very distinct mechanical sound when it releases. I didn't hear that sound. And I'm waiting. I'm like,
oh, shit.
Any day now. So I turn around, and there's my backup officer. He's basically right next to my car, and I'm like, hey, stay back, watch out. I'm trying to pop the door. Door's not opening. And I look, and now the bank robber is like basically getting away.
He's booking it.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I'm still a cop. Like, let's do this. Like, let's see what I got, right? So I ended up, chasing him and taking him down in the woods in some sewer, basically. He tried to crawl through a sewer, like a drainage ditch or something, and we ended up getting him. But so, training point from all this, right? There's a safety feature on the door popper that the car has to be in park for the door to open. Well, when I hit him, obviously I came to a stop. In my mind, I didn't have to put the car in park, and my hand was preoccupied with my firearm at the time. I never put the car in park. So that's why the door wouldn't open. So, a learning point.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it human error, but it's just something, that happened. It happened, and it is what it is. But I definitely owe him one. He was not happy.
Pissed.
He was not happy with me.
He had to stay back during the chase.
Yes.
No pun intended. Or
yes.
Pun. Yeah. Poor guy.
That was fun. But
Yeah. So like, what goes through your mind in a situation like that? Like, I mean, talk about like adrenaline, and like you said, the suspect you thought was probably could have been reaching for a gun, or well, you knew he had a gun.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, what goes through your mind in a situation like that?
So, I mean, it's definitely exciting. Basically, like, what's going through my mind is all my training, all my experience, the jobs that I have done in the past. I have trained myself to really calm down in stressful moments. With breathing, take that deep breath, make sure to breathe. Like, you have to breathe in times like this. Everybody's going to have that physiological response to a spike in adrenaline. That's your fight, flight, or freeze. That's your body's response to something that's happening. Everybody's going to be different. So when I was new and I would, somebody would take off running or something hot would come in, like a shooting or a robbery or something, I would feel that adrenaline just blast through my body. And you almost forget where you are. You may forget to turn your radio on when you get out of the car. You make these little mistakes. And I identified them and said, I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to feel out of control. Even though it was my own body's response to that situation, I didn't like that response. So, you learn like tactical breathing. The Navy SEALs practice stuff like that. Even race car drivers and people that are in high adrenaline professions, they practice how to control their body's response to that adrenaline. And honestly, like, that's the mindset that I use when I'm at work. Like, I still get excited about stuff. Like, when I like hear a call come in and like, oh, maybe I could use my dog for this. Of course I'm going to throw my lights on and I'm going to go. I have to learn to control that excitement, because then you control your mind and you're more clear-headed. Yeah, it's exciting, but I have a job to do. So what do I have to do? Well, I have to make sure that it's safe. I have to, where could this car be going? I'm on I have a radio. I have to let people know where I am. I have to give a description of the vehicles. Or say a person, right? If someone takes off running on me, well, I have to let them know because I need the cavalry to come to help me. A person or a car is not going to outrun the radio, right? So like slowing yourself down and identifying that and focusing on the small tasks that you have to do to get your job done. And breathing. Like, breathing is the biggest thing. Like, just breathe, relax. Like, you're going to be fine. If you trust your training, you trust, if you have a winning mindset, you're going to be fine. And, that's basically what I've trained myself to be calm in those situations, because it really allows me to think, because having a dog, especially if it's going to be a dog call or something that I could use the dog for, I have to think, okay, the person just robbed, let's say, a Turkey Hill. They fled the store. We know that. Which way did they run? All right, we know they left the store. Why would we need 5 cops at the Turkey Hill? The person's not there anymore. Send 1 cop to the Turkey Hill to look at surveillance and get a description and a direction of travel, and the other 4 set up a perimeter, set up containment, start looking for that guy that's running away. Like, people are so tunnel visioned at getting to the scene of the crime that they probably drive right past the vehicle or the person,
Not even realizing
it. So as I'm on my way there, like, I know, and again, we're going to go back to the teamwork, right? I know that in order for me to successfully use my dog, not only does he have to rely on me and I have to rely on him, I have to also rely on other members of the department to really set us up for success. Like I said, setting containment, setting a perimeter, having knowledge of the streets of the city and where this person might be running to. A lot of times, if our response is quick enough, the people they're gonna run to get away from the scene of the crime, and then they're gonna hide. And while they're bedded down in someone's backyard or under a bush or under a porch, if we have a perimeter set up and they know that we're out there and we're looking for them, then when my dog shows up,
They're screwed.
they're screwed. Because we are going to find them. But if they know they could run, they're going to run.
But they probably don't even know that you have the dog, though, right?
Yeah,
That's the
maybe,
thing, which is, sucks for them.
Yeah, well, they'll find
when
out.
you show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it really like it comes down to teamwork. I mean, we can't do it alone. Like as amazing as I like to believe my dog is, and as a great of a team that we are, and I truly believe we are a great team, we can't do it alone. And I recognize that. I don't show up and be like, oh, K9's here, watch out, boys.
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah, I got this. No, I need you guys. I need help. Tracking for a fugitive is the most dangerous thing that we could do as K9 handlers, because our focus is on that dog. 2 hands on the leash. So if something pops off, someone pops out with a gun, what am I going to do? I need cover officers to stick with me. I need them to be trained to watch downrange, to not be watching the dog, to look, listen.
Yeah, so what do you do in that situation?
Well, I would, we train to not track alone ever, and have the cover officers with us, at least one on the left and right. If we could have 3, like in a city, it's great. We have a lot of guys working with us. Small agencies with a dog, like, they may only have one other guy on shift, or maybe they have to call someone from a neighboring agency to come over and help them. So it's very dangerous. But again, that goes back to teamwork. Like, there has been handlers killed tracking with no cover. That's a no-no. We don't do it. You'd rather the person get away that time. You'll get them again, but you don't track without cover. And it's that simple. I don't care what anyone tells you.
Yeah.
So
you guys are together 24/7, right?
Yeah, 24/7.
He goes home.
Yeah.
What's he do when he's off duty?
He chills. He's pretty good at home. He definitely wants to play when he wants to play, but he has a good off switch. Like I said earlier before we started recording, like, we're on the last day of our 4-day weekend. By Monday night, he was like, no, like, I'm bored. You need to entertain me.
He wanted to run.
Yeah, he wanted to do something. So, like I said, today we went for a 3.5 mile run, which really did nothing for him. He got home and was like, all right, what's next?
Beat you.
Like, yep.
Yeah, he's training you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually became a fairly decent runner, like, because of him. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
He really pushed me.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
what a good partner.
Yeah, he's great. He doesn't care where we eat during shift. He doesn't really complain.
No, he doesn't?
No, he smells better than some guys too. So
yeah.
He's really the best partner to have.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Rides in the back.
Yep.
Chauffeur.
Yep.
Chauffeur style.
Yep.
Gets
all the girls.
Yeah.
Everybody loves him.
Chick magnet.
That's it.
Yeah. What a good boy. So how is this funded? Like, how, does taxpayers pay for funding for this, or how does it work?
So the K9 unit is run mostly off donations. When Chase was purchased, he was purchased with donated money from Motor World. They donated $15,000 back in 2016 to purchase him. And then really, it comes down to donations from the public. The initial startup cost for K9 is a lot, especially, like, probably the biggest expense is the vehicle cost and outfitting the vehicle with the special equipment that the dog needs, temperature regulation equipment and the door poppers and all that stuff. Once you get it up and running, I mean, it's really not that much of a burden, but there is, like, food expenses, vet bills, equipment costs. The dogs go through toys, quite often. They've got a pretty powerful bite.
They bite right through them.
They chew up these toys pretty easily. So yeah, we really work off of donations, and it's pretty unique too with Wilkes-Barre City. Like, Wilkes-Barre is like the hub of the Luzerne County, right? And when we were doing fundraising at the beginning, when we first got these dogs, people from all over the place donated, like different counties, different states. People would donate in the name of their relative who was a police officer, and one woman that I could think of specifically, her son had served at the Pentagon, I believe, during the 9/11 attacks, and ultimately I think had died. Originally from this area, and she had made donations, in his name. So that's a pretty unique thing. And like I said earlier, we've gone all over the place to help all different agencies, state, local, federal agencies. So I really see our canine unit as like everybody's canine unit. We're fortunate enough to have the support of the mayor and the Chief Coffey, Mayor Brown. They support us. They believe in what we're doing, and they let us go and share that knowledge and that resource that they encourage with everybody. And I think that's pretty awesome. Like the fact that I'm able to sit here with you and talk about this.
Yeah, it's super cool.
It's awesome. Like, and when I leave here, I'm going to Plains National Night Out, and I'm going to do a canine demo. Like, again, not Wilkes-Barre City, going to Plains. I've gone out of county to like Columbia County with the U.S. Marshals to assist with a fugitive. So like, people want to use Wilkes-Barre's dogs because, we have a good program. We're going in the right direction. We have the support of the mayor and the chief. We have the support of the public. So it's really like growing exponentially in the sense that like we're just trying to keep up sometimes. Like it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see something like be built, essentially like transformed, I guess you would say, because the Wilkes-Barre's Canine Unit has been around since 1970.
It's a long time.
Yeah. On and off, groups of dogs, then maybe a break, and then groups of dogs, and but as far as I'm concerned, and if I have any control over it, there will never be a time where Wilkes-Barre City does not have dogs, and that's really what I'm working towards.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So I think the most important question. Well, thank you for the Wilkes-Barre police patch, by the way.
My pleasure.
I think it's becoming a thing. I'm collecting patches now.
It is a thing, and challenge coins.
And challenge coins.
Once I get some, you'll be the first.
No way.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Respect.
Yep.
So, but the question is will Chase allow me to come for a ride along? I think that's the most important.
Absolutely.
Question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could I really?
Yep.
For real?
So I'm also a field training officer. So I have new officers in the car with me all the time. I've taken college students, interns along. I've had news reporters in the car with us. Like,
awesome.
He's cool, man. Like you want to see a show, you come right along with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Do I get to wear that 50,000-pound vest too?
if you want, yeah. If you want to, but
yeah, my wife might make me.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's super cool, man. So I'm gonna take you up on that if that's allowed.
Definitely.
I think that would be so cool.
Yeah,
so cool to do.
It's definitely an eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. It's back to the donations. So obviously, I'm sure you can probably use donations. So if there's anyone listening that might be interested in donating to the canine unit, how could they do that?
They could get in touch with us on our Facebook page. We have a canine unit Facebook page, or our city's Facebook page, Wilkes-Barre City Police Department, or Wilkes-Barre City Police Canine Unit on Facebook, and or City Hall. Like, just get in touch with us. We could use the help. Our Crime Watch is really helping us out. They're trying to raise funds for us now. I'm working on a grant to be able to add a third dog to the department. Yeah, man, there's so many things out there. It's just it's about time.
Is there anything else like the community or me or anyone else can do to help support you guys?
Keep doing what you're doing. Like this is great. This is support. Like listening. Like we're out there doing a job. Like support us. Just it's a tough job.
Yeah.
I mean, you giving us this this opportunity throw a shameless plug to our unit, is great. It's going to help out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if not, I mean, just people listening and maybe getting, a different appreciation or understanding for canine. That's gonna help us out eventually too. So
super cool.
We're gonna make it work no matter what. But
awesome.
But we could definitely use some financial help.
Cool. Well, hopefully someone listening will maybe help out.
We'll see.
So what else? Is there anything else that I didn't ask you that I should have asked you?
So basically, like, being a handler is definitely where it's at. I love the street work. I love working my dog. As far as I'm concerned, as long as I'm capable and able, and I will work a dog for the rest of my career, I hope. But I sort of got into the training side of things, and that was unexpected. I had sort of planned, again. When you think you have your life planned, like you don't. You have no control over your life. But I had figured, I'll work my dog for maybe 10 years, and then that would give me like enough experience to say, maybe I'll become a trainer. Maybe I could help out people, standardized training in the county, maybe between police departments. Well, we talked earlier about ongoing training. So part of canine training is a dual-purpose dog has to complete 16 hours of mandatory, what we call in-service training a month. So the organization that we partnered with is the Penn Vet Working Dog Center out of Philadelphia. Phenomenal organization. Unbelievable knowledge base. Obviously, you have University of Pennsylvania, an Ivy League school, as, their backbone. The people running the law enforcement training program and the Working Dog Center are just unbelievable, like the best in the business. So we started training with them in 2019. We would travel to Philly twice a month, every month, and go and train with them. So last summer, probably around August or so, they had reached out to me and offered or expressed interest on bringing me on as a trainer for their organization, in hopes, or with the idea that eventually I would take over the training in this region with their support. So currently we train 4 different agencies up here in this area. So now we run training up here. And like I had mentioned earlier, when I spent time in Philly at detection school and patrol school, that was a once in a lifetime opportunity that I'll never, I never thought I would ever get. The fact that the chief believed in, again, what we're doing so much that he essentially gave up not only an officer off the street, but he gave up the dog for that time that I was in Philadelphia. I wasn't here working my dog. I was living in Philadelphia for a total of 5 months. That was 5 months the city didn't have a dog or a handler or a cop on the street. So it was really, really cool. And I also went to a school to learn how to decoy with the bite suit. You could tell the listeners how you felt on the receiving end of that dog, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't even get bit.
Yeah.
But tell me it wasn't intimidating.
Yeah.
And I think it was I wasn't comfortable in a bite suit because I didn't know what I was doing, which goes for anything. But I had the opportunity to go to a high-risk deployment Decoy Seminar. And these guys are cutting edge, best in the business. They're real big on scenario-based training, exposing dogs to crazy stuff in training, so that when the dogs see something like that on the street, the dogs are like, I got this. I've done this before. Piece of cake. So they took the scenario-based training side of it and said, hey, now we need decoys that know how to properly decoy a dog. So in the past, police departments especially are notorious for this, where they would say, hey, rookie, put on the bite suit, run. They'd send the dog. The dog would smoke this rookie in the bite suit. They'd go tumbling to the ground, right? The handler would run up, take the dog off the bite. Really, you're doing a disservice to everyone. It's dangerous to the person in the suit that doesn't know how to catch a dog properly. It's dangerous to the dog if you don't catch a dog properly. Dogs have broken their necks. Dogs have broken teeth by inexperienced decoys. So the agency that I certify with out of Lancaster, their head trainer had called me, and they were hosting a high-risk deployment decoy school, and they said, hey, we want to sponsor you through the school. And it was like a week. It was actually the week that patrol school started, so I actually missed the first week of patrol school to go to the Decoy Seminar. And I had always wanted a bite suit. I always wanted my own bite suit, and this was the push to get one. And I ordered it, custom made from Spain. And when that came in, I was like, well, I'm either gonna love it or hate it. And I was just the experience and the training that I got from some of the best professional decoys in the police world. It really lit a new fire for me in that side of things. So when you're in that bite suit, you are the trainer. Like, you are training that dog. You are marking the proper behaviors, the proper grips. You are the one that could make or break that dog when you're in that bite suit. You don't need the handler to do anything. It's you and the dog. And it's something that a lot of people don't, I think a lot of people don't understand it. And part of it is a little bit of a little fear. I love it. I think it's amazing. And what I really enjoy and what I think comes out of it is when a decoy could make a dog do something that even the handler didn't think the dog was capable of. You see that twinkle in the handler's eye, the pride of, wow, my dog's not a leg biter. I didn't think my dog would bite on the front of the suit, or I didn't think my dog would jump over that, or we put these dogs through so much. And when you have an experienced decoy that could work a dog through that and build that team, again, I go back to that, building the team, it's really an awesome feeling as a decoy. It's cool to see the dog, do well, but it's cool to see that handler be proud. And what does that equate to? It equates to confidence in that team. It equates to that handler knowing that if he has to use that dog is going to do the job. And I just like the fact that I'm fortunate enough to be given that opportunity to get training like that, take that training to Philadelphia, teach, at the time it was four new dogs, the experience that I have. And then I think that's like a unique experience in the fact that I'm still working. Like, I'm on the street every day. Like I said, last Monday, I was in a foot pursuit with a guy, a wanted person. Tuesday, I got punched in the face by a missing schizophrenic. Friday, I was in a pursuit with a armed bank robber. Like, I'm out there doing the job. I'm not just talking the talk. And the fact that I have the opportunity to bring my real world experience to other teams, not only in my little training group up here that, the 7 dogs that we train in this area, but to be able to travel the state and share my knowledge and my experience with other teams and help build other teams is very rewarding for me. And that's really all I care about. I make no money doing, the training stuff. Like, my job is a police canine handler for the city of Wilkes-Barre. I know that, and the taxpayers should know that, and the chief of police knows that. But given the opportunity to help another team and build teams is really very rewarding for me, and it really motivates me to continue on the path that I'm on, to continue to go out there and use my dog and find the drugs, find the bad guys, and then take that experience back to the training group and say, look, here's why we're doing this. Here's why I feel this is important, or here's what not to do. Let's learn from my mistakes. It's really awesome, and it's like something that I never expected to happen this fast, and it's really growing for me and for the city of Wilkes-Barre, and it's a little surreal at times.
Yeah, good for you, man.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm happy for
it's
you.
awesome.
It is just so freaking cool what you do. Seriously,
Thanks.
it's like the coolest thing ever, you know?
Yeah, it is.
It's like I feel
fun.
like it's like the only thing, like you only see this stuff in the movies, you know, but we got the real thing here today, you know?
Thank you.
It was this is cool, and I'm again, thank you for the patch. I'm looking forward to the ride along as long as Chase allows me. And do you notice I'm not asking for you permission? I'm just asking Chase.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, I'm super pumped. I think this is so cool. I think I respect and appreciate everything you do for our community and your service to this country. So thanks for doing what you do.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Officer Homza, Wilkes-Barre City Police, on the Stacks podcast in the Blue Door Studio. Thanks for joining me. If you'd like to learn more about the On the Stacks podcast, be sure to search the hashtag #OnTheStacks on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. We'll catch you next time on the Stacks.